Okay, hey everyone, welcome to blog number two. For those that didn't read my blog, we're going to do some video content to show you how to build a basic React app. So just some background information. Um, as guess I stated in my blog, best to go through my first blog for this tutorial because once you go through the first blog, you'll be able to kind of get some of the basic concepts of React before we get started on this. So what we're going to be building today and what we're going to be doing today is kind of going through um, the setup of React, kind of some of the cleanup stuff that we have to do, and we will be building a very small application that will be basically an input field that changes the title every time you input something in there, and then as well giving you a list after you push the submit button, what it will kind of show up on your list. So it should technically, whatever you've entered into the input field and push submit, that will be on your list. So we're going to start from scratch. I have VS Code loaded in here right now. If you have VS Code, um, perfect. If you don't, you're going to need to download VS Code to get started. I'm just going to pull up a new terminal here, and this will give me this thing here at the bottom. I'm just going to change to my D drive, and we're going to go into React Apps and start from here. And so basically right here, we're gonna start a React app um, by typing in um, npx. I will copy and paste this here. So basically npx create React app and then name your app, which we're gonna just call tutorial blog 2. So maybe I should have that all as no space. And in order to get this, you first have to have Node on there. So you have to check what Node version you have on your system. And for the version that I have right now, I guess we should check that, is I believe 16.13. So just if you type node -v, this should give you the version. And so yeah, if you can see right now, it's version 16.13.1. So if you do that, you'll be able to check the node version you have, and I believe 16 and higher should be okay for this tutorial. And we will then be able to install React through Node and npm. So we will type in this command here, and this should get us kind of like the boilerplate and all the startup files that we need to create this app. So again, call this blog 2 or tutorial blog 2. Just type enter, and this you'll see just do a bunch of things, setting up, installing things, and this might take a while, but let me pause it, and we'll be back when it's done. Okay, so now we're back, just finished installing. You should get something like this, where there's a bunch of stuff that shows, and there's a happy hacking at the bottom here. So from here, what you want to do is you want to change directory into the directory that we just created. So tutorial blog 2, and once we get into here, you'll be able to run npm start, and this should start up your application as of just doing the npx install. So this should be the kind of boilerplate that you need to just kind of get started on things. So npm start, this takes a little bit of time to go, but you should see some kind of success kind of notes come in, or some kind of prompts come in, or in my case it will just pop open the page that we're on. Close those. And yeah, here we are. So it'll give you this kind of the page that you should see once it starts loaded up, and that's what we're gonna see here. So going back to the code, we're gonna see something like this where it says compiled successfully, and from here, like I say, you're gonna be able to access your website, or if like it didn't happen like mine and it didn't pop up, you can go to this URL here and it should show you the exact same kind of React symbol rotating like that. Okay, so we're gonna go back. I'm just gonna close this one off here. Go back here, and now we're just gonna do some cleanup work. So if I go into the files here, let's go and open up that folder where we'll go to here and React Apps, blog 2, no, tutorial blog 2. So we select this folder, it opens up, and here we're going to have a few files that we're going to want to clean up first before we kind of get started on at the actual tutorial. So we won't need, let's see, app CSS. I'm just going to hold control here to delete some of these. So app test.js, index.css, logo.svg, report setup. We won't need those, and I think that's it. So you can control and click those, and then basically go to delete these. Yes, I want to move those, and all we have left is the app.js and the index.js. So we will need to go into the app.js, which we see a bunch of things happening here, but what we're going to do is we're going to clean these up here too. There's a lot of stuff that we don't need, and we're just going to delete that, and we're going to delete basically everything. Yeah, we'll delete everything, and then just put back in a div marker in there, save that, and that should be all that we need. Maybe we'll just put like an H2 here, and just call this the blog to React tutorial. Okay, save this, and if we go check out our page right now, refresh this. Oh, sorry, my bad. But if I start a new terminal, I think we will need to start this up again. So npm start. So npm start, right? I think, as I just mentioned, it will start up the application, the React application, and we'll just wait for that, and hopefully it will start up. And we have some issues here. This is the greatness of doing things live and recorded. Oh yeah, sorry. So we got to clean up some of the index stuff as well. Sorry. We will need to get rid of a lot of stuff in here. So we're going to get rid of this, delete that, delete all of this. Import app from app, yeah. We'll get rid of this. We'll keep these up here, and then we will just delete the strict, delete this, and just put a comma here. So this should render our stuff back. So we had to remove a bunch of stuff from the index.js as well. So once we clean that up, now we can see that there's blog2 React tutorial there. So that's good. And we will go back and let's see. So that's how our application, that's what we need to do to clean up some of the application stuff there. And now we get started. It's clean. It's, it's ready to go. And so we put the H2 here. So what we're building today, right, is a little bit of an input and to get you used to using one of the React hooks, which is useState. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy in some of this code on the app side, and I will paste it all in here. But we'll go through this kind of line by line to talk you through what's going on. So the first thing is on line 1 here we have an import of useState. So this allows us to use the useState hook, and this import is necessary in order to use that. So that's that. The function app, this is declaring the component. So this component is the app component, and that's what we're kind of putting in here. So we're saying app is coming from this app here, which is basically this app.js here. So that's just declaring that. And then we're declaring a variable here with title and set title. This uses the state. So, this is going to be our useState variable, which right now I'm setting to blog2 React tutorial as a kind of default. And then what it's going to return is some of the JSX that we're going to set up here. So returns a div, an H2 now that is going to be anything in curly braces here is going to be interpreted by JSX to whatever the variable is here. So in our case, title right now, because it's set as a default to blog2 React tutorial, this will set the H2 to blog2 React tutorial. And then we have an input here to basically be able to input something, and then we have on change function here that basically will take in whatever you put into the input line, and then we use the set title function here to set the title to whatever you're typing in. So I'm just going to save this here, and we're going to go back and take a look at what we have. So right now it's blog2 React tutorial, and so if I type something in there, so if I say hello world, we can see that change right in front of our screen here. So it's working as intended, and that is great. So that is what's going on right there. So every time you type, it's changing that target value, and it changes it to the title, and every time the title changes, it's re-rendering what the page is going to be. So that's how we're getting that happening there. So we will do that, and then from here we will just create a little small list of things that we're going to build, and basically every time we input something, we will get the list of items that we've imported in. So once again, I'm gonna just copy and paste some of the code that I've previously done to speed this up a bit. And oops, sorry, let me try this again. I didn't catch all of it, so all right, there. So same thing, just gonna save this. We have the useState, we're importing that in, calling the app. Now we're declaring a second variable, which is the list, and this is going to be an array. So we put these square brackets here declaring that it's going to be an array. This variable is going to be an array. And then we have this function here called add to list. So all this function is going to do is basically add whatever you're typing in to the list. So at this point, I'm saying const item equals the title. So whatever the title is, we're making it item, and then on the next line, we're saying set the list, which is going to be taking in a list, which here we're just saying the spread operator saying let's whatever's in the array already, put it in this array, plus we're going to put in the item as well, which we've named title, which is what's ever going to be inputted in the input field. So add that together in the list, and that becomes our list variable. So I know that's a bit much, but we will see it in action. But here in the return, we're doing the same thing. The title didn't change. The input here was the same, and we're adding a button that is called submit, and then on that button we're putting on an event, click event. So once that button gets clicked, it's going to go to this add to list function, which is this function here, which will add the item onto this list array here. And then from there we have another div that will add basically a list of inputs tag here, so an h2 tag saying here's the list of inputs, and we have unordered list that will basically go through this list here and populate whatever's in the list. So here what's going on is anything in between the curly braces gets interpreted by JSX differently. So basically we're saying, okay, hey, take a look at this code. List.length, because list is an array, we have a method here called length that we can pull from the array, and basically it will tell us, is there, like, what's the length of the array? And all I'm saying here is if the array of the length is greater than 0, then kind of go through and run the rest of this stuff here. And so what is the rest of this stuff? So list.map, for anyone that's unfamiliar with map, map function will basically just take the array and apply whatever on every single element within the array. So in our case, there's nothing here yet, but it will just go through and see what it is. So the item will be kind of what's going to be populated from the array. So in this case, it will be like basically item, whatever we type in, and then there's an index, which the index is just saying what position is this item in. So within an array, you can get an index. So if in an array it's like, you know, we have elements like this, 1 2 3, well, 1, or I should maybe use like hello world, and I don't know, hi. But in this index, and it should be like a string, but basically in here we can say that this array, this position here is position 0, this position for world is position 1, and this position here is 3. So that's kind of an array and getting the index of the array. So we're coming back down here, the index, we're going to need this because React, if you're listing out stuff, it needs to know what is being changed. So having an index basically associated with a key is how React can go back and say, well, this thing has changed, so therefore change this item here, right? Or do something with this item. So we're gonna list through the map, right? We're gonna go through, the list with the dot map function, and it will populate our list for us. So here, I'm just gonna save this again, save this, and we'll be able to go here again. So we got the submit button, we have the list of input, that header tag that we added, and for here we'll say hello world or hello, This is still changing for us, the h2 tag above. We submit and it creates our list here. So whatever you want to type in, we could type in world, um, how are you, right? Type how are you, and it just keeps kind of populating that. So this kind of is a very, I know, kind of high level, very simple application that we have created here, but that kind of gives you an idea of how to use the use state. And I think from here, this is going to be a great kind of where to start. Hopefully you've learned a little bit something here, especially like cleaning up some of the stuff. npx install kind of gives you a lot of stuff in there that you probably don't need, so usually kind of clean some of that stuff up first and then get started with your application. So yeah, that's kind of the end of our tutorial. Hope you enjoyed it, and I guess as a challenge, I challenge listeners or viewers of this video, or readers of the blog, to add on, continue coding, add on to what I've created here, by basically, I give you a challenge is, let's create a title. So let's go back to the application. Let's create a good title, because right here this h2 kind of changes. So let's maybe create a good title for this application, and then possibly adding a button next to every item, and basically allowing the user to delete that item, or even adding items or buttons to be able to edit them, and adding items to maybe, yeah, like edit them, delete them, those kind of things. And if you're really feeling like, you got it down, you're excited, I challenge you to do like a grocery app. So, doing this, being able to type in your grocery list, like, bananas, and add it to the list, and then being able to cross it off, or checkbox, have a checkbox so that it checks saying that you got it, or an edit button, and a delete button, so that you can edit or delete this item, and then just a checkbox to check it off. So if you can do that, awesome. Continue learning. I think React's a great library to work with, and so I think everyone will have a lot of fun. Hopefully I'll get to do some more of this, some more of these kind of tutorials, but for now, have a good one.